So you have a deload week coming up, and maybe this is your first deload you've ever done. So let's go over what that means and why we do it and the benefits of it. Now, human physiology is not linear, meaning you do not just bench 50 pounds this week, 55 next week, 60 the week after, 65, 70, 85 indefinitely. If you could, you'd be a world record holder. But eventually, on that climb up, the wheels start to shake, things get hard, and you can't take that next step up. That's when you want to deload, or you want to give your body a week of rest, okay? Now, by doing that, you allow your body to recover a little more and be better prepared after that week to try to perform a similar sequence of progression, whether it's in weight, intensity, reps, etc. But our body needs those weeks of reprieve to allow us to truly kind of catch up on healing. When you're working out hard in a week, you kind of build up a level of accumulated fatigue and accumulated trauma within your body that on a night-by-night basis, your body does pretty good at keeping up with, but on a week-by-week basis, it starts to build up in the background, and then you start to develop nagging elbow issues, a little achy shoulder, your knees kind of feel stiffer when you're squatting than normal, and that deload week helps kind of just wash all that away a little bit. Because your joints, your ligaments, your tendons, your connective tissue in general just doesn't heal at the same rate as your muscles do. So you might go to the gym and exercise your biceps on Monday, and by Wednesday, your biceps aren't sore at all, you can train them again, but maybe your elbow is subtly not as healed. And so after 5-6 weeks, your elbow's starting to be like, hey, this is a lot, even though your bicep muscle itself has been able to heal every 2-3 days. Okay? There's also the psychological aspect of training. You should realistically, when you come to the gym, push yourself. Like checking the box of fitness doesn't tend to progress people's fitness. You need to actually push yourself to do something uncomfortable, whether it's 2.5 more pounds on an exercise, or it's another rep, or it's a slightly shorter rest period. That's the way the body adapts, but that's psychologically fatiguing. So again, after 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of doing that in a row, if you impart a deload week, that kind of washes away that psychological fatigue, and then you're rejuvenated to push for another 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. And so keeping your psychological fatigue low, and so your state of readiness high to want to train hard, because everyone who trains that loves training can eventually be beat into submission by hard training to kind of not look forward to it. We all have it in us. But by imparting deloads every 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks, depending on the person, it allows you year in and year out to still psychologically be amped up for training. It allows your connective tissue time to heal and catch up to your muscles. And then it allows you to actually perform better. You would think by having an easy week that you're kind of like losing ground. You're like, oh, I'm going to lose the progress I've made. But that's just not how it works. You can take a week where you train lightly, and then what you'll notice is you actually feel fresher the week after to like train hard again. And you haven't lost any progress. You can return back to the same weights you were at the week before, or on that sequence of weights that you were working on as the previous cycle, and you realize I haven't really lost any progress, but my body feels better and my psychological fatigue is low. So you have a deload week coming. It should feel light. That's the point, is it should allow you to drop fatigue, drop aches and pains. You still want to train, but you're just going to train with light reps and light weights, still taking your body through the motions, pumping blood into different joints and muscles, unstiffening up everything. But you should notice your deload week workouts are like a fourth the amount of time. And then by the end of the week, you should kind of feel invigorated to want to train. Like on your last training day of a deload week, you should kind of like be amped up for the next week to be able to train hard again. That's a sign that your deload did what it was supposed to. It reduced all that fatigue physically and psychologically, and you're ready to train again. If by the end of a deload, you still feel like blah, like, man, I'm not ready for it next week, then a discussion of maybe another half of a week of a deload is warranted. Maybe you pushed too hard and too long in the last cycle. That 1 week deload isn't enough to drop that fatigue, and vice versa. You might only need a half week deload if you just haven't accumulated that much fatigue yet.